So for people that don't know the standards at all, the ISO 19650 series of standards evolved from what were the United Kingdom standards, which were called BS and PAS 1192 or 1192 suite. We now have the ISO 19650 series, and again we're looking at the updates. So the first parts of ISO 19650 series came out in 2018, and again we transitioned into them in 2019, the beginning of 2019. They are focused on managing information. They always have been. Certainly there was more of a focus on BIM, or building information modeling, which we'll mention again, but they're still absolutely clearly focused on information management and the information needed to make decisions before, during and after construction projects. So again, it's for the whole life. So you can see there we're mentioning the asset life cycle. The physical asset life cycle does involve construction, but it involves a lot more. Operations, decommissioning, reuse, repurpose, planning. So again, the standards could have always been applied for that, and the focus could be for that, but a lot of people were only focused on projects. The new standards are focused on whole life more clearly. And we do, as I mentioned, we do look at why the information is needed. So you'll see at the bottom there when we talk about purposes from different perspectives. So who needs information? For what purpose? Why do they need it? To represent the 6 parts of the ISO 19650 series, we have this graphic. If you buy them, they don't have this colourful graphic. It's just a representation that we've made. But you get the idea. There are 6. There are 6 parts, and very briefly, part 1 we're going to look at. That's the concepts and principles. Part 2 is in a different presentation. We'll look at that in detail, but that is now called when it's released. So the information management process. Part 3 will become a guide. So traditionally that's been to do with operations. Again, that's in a different presentation, but that will be an implementation guide, as you can see. Part 4 is about information exchange. That's the name of it. And quality. So we've added that there. It is about quality, checking quality, validating the quality of information at that exchange point. What's the criteria for that? Part 5 is about a security-minded approach, about the physical and the cyber, the digital considerations, about both. So about the cyber-physical relationship and security. And part 6 is about health and safety information. How can that be managed and structured in a way that it can be reused? And so we'll do other presentations on all of them. There's a lot to discuss, but we are going to focus on part 1. So what does part 1 cover? Again, many of you will be very familiar. Some people won't be familiar at all. So again, to remind ourselves, it is about the overall concepts and principles for all the other 19650 series. Again, it's about managing information. That's what it's about. It's about information management in the built environment for built assets, for physical built assets. Information management is a broad topic and it's a profession. And there are other standards, particularly around data management, master data management, data quality, document management, which exist already. So I already have a background in data and information management outside of the built environment, but just be really clear, this standard is focused on information management for the built environment assets. And again, just to reiterate, at the bottom right there, you can see it is about the whole life cycle of the asset. So before, during and after construction. Definitely the operations, yes, maintenance, refurbishment, end of life, reuse. It covers everything. And I can assure you people are looking at long-term reuse of information. I happen to have partly a background in the railway sector. And absolutely, there are still some assets that that are 200 years old, and we have information on that. It wasn't necessarily digital originally, but we're talking, long term, and it varies depending on what asset you're focused on.